Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, tonight I'm going to be sharing my time with the member from Kenora. Madam Speaker, normally I would rise, whether in person or virtually, and talk about what an honor it is to rise in the House and speak on a topic. But tonight, it's not easy to speak on the horrific discovery of 215 children found buried at a former residential school in Kamloops, as the reality is indescribable. This discovery is a somber reminder that so much more work needs to be done to address the devastating and harmful effects that residential schools had and that they still have on many survivors today. All Canadians must stop and reflect on what is the truth of our history as a country. For far too long, Canada has ignored our own collective secrets hidden within the history of this country. The recent news from Kamloops brings to the surface that reality. When the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was established in 2008, one of the outcomes of that process was the need to deal with the very first aspect, the truth. There's an old adage, Madam Speaker, that the truth hurts. It unfortunately rang very true these past few days. Madam Speaker, earlier this year, I had the opportunity to spend some time with two vice chiefs of the Meadow Lake Tribal Council, Vice Chief Lawrence McIntyre and Vice Chief Richard DeRocher, both residential school survivors. In fact, Vice Chief Lawrence McIntyre, a third-generation residential school survivor. We had a long conversation about many topics and issues that are happening in northern Saskatchewan and my riding and across our country. But it was a story that Vice Chief DeRocher shared with us that day that resonated with me at the time, and with the events of this past week, I have continued to reflect upon it. He told of how Orange Shirt Day has been an important educational tool for people to learn about the residential school system. He explained how one of the best ways to combat racism is through education. That when we come together and see and treat each other as people, we recognize our similarities far outweigh our differences. Vice Chief DeRocher then told a story about he happened to be in Saskatoon on Orange Shirt Day last September. And as he made his way about the city that afternoon, he said it brought tears to his eyes as he saw people all around the streets, walking on the sidewalks, and going in and out of stores and buildings wearing the color orange. What he saw that day was a collective recognition of a wrong, a powerful statement that we are beginning to see movement in the right direction. Madam Speaker, I also thought of the Vice Chief's story last week when I heard about the online comments directed towards Ethan Bear. As an avid hockey fan, it was disheartening to see a young man that is a role model for so many young people have to endure what he did in the aftermath of the Edmonton Oilers playoff loss. It is sad there is still people in this world who resort to such bitterness and cruelty. However, I couldn't help but notice it was also an opportunity. It was an opportunity for voices of support of the majority to come out in waves and to drown out the voices of the uneducated. We can all take inspiration from the strength of character and the class that Ethan showed in his response to dealing with a situation he did not deserve. As a former hockey coach, Madam Speaker, I would take a team full of Ethan Bears. These stories highlight the need for more and continued education on the truth, a truth that all Canadians must collectively share until we get this right. We may be moving in the right direction at times, but a more concerted effort is needed. Yesterday, the leader of the official opposition sent a letter with the following recommendations to the Prime Minister that need urgent action, Madam Speaker. Number one, to develop a comprehensive plan to implement TRC calls to action 71 through 76, and to do that by July 1st, 2021. Secondly, to fund the investigation at all former residential schools in Canada where unmarked graves may exist, including the site where the 215 children have already been discovered. Third, to ensure that proper resources are allocated for communities to re-enter, commemorate, and honor any individuals discovered through this investigation according to the wishes of their families. And finally, to develop a detailed and thorough set of resources to educate Canadians of all ages on the tragic history of residential schools. Madam Speaker, let me end by saying this, that the truth is not easy. It requires courage and vulnerability. And for those of us who have been tasked with an opportunity for leadership, it will take some humility and a desire to change an approach that has not been good enough. Partisanship, by its very nature, is in direct opposition to the meaning of reconciliation. Canada needs us to be better, Madam Speaker. Thank you.